Just when you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss, kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it, we leaving. Yeah, we achieving, can't be beaten. Say it loud, say it proud from the top of my lungs. Hometown, sacred ground, you ain't trying with us. Around this time, you really can't deny. You can't run, you can't hide when the Patriot comes.
All
What's
right,
up,
everyone. Welcome
everybody?
to the Patriots Friday Night Lights podcast. How are we doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Sorry, buddy, my camera's off. Room's a little bit of a mess. Birthday party tomorrow, everything. I done had a stressful day.
All good. I wanted to start. As the draft kind of pops up,
Correct.
right? Every week it seems like there's a new person that the Patriots are picking. Right now, it honestly seems like everyone's going Will Campbell. I haven't really seen anything negative about Will Campbell this week. I don't know what changed, but everyone's on board.
Yeah, I just feel like, honestly, like, unless a guy is just like so severely undersized for a position or his art, like, the game is not. I feel like what's starting to happen with the league, and the league creates these problems for itself. That you remember how we were going over the arm length of some of these edge rushers and stuff, but it's a whole big deal about Will Campbell. That's the only knock you can tell me that you have on a guy that's only given up 2 sacks his whole college career, and now arm length makes him not worthy. But the game is a smaller game overall.
I was about to say, you made a really good point last week, was that, right, we're getting faster, smaller, more athletic kind of players. So now Will Campbell might become the new standard because all these defensive ends, and we went over each of everyone's arm lengths last time, and like almost all of them had the same arm length as Will Campbell. So I think a couple of years, like maybe 5 years ago, Will Campbell probably that could be significant, his arm length, but now the game's changed so much.
Because even if you look at Jalen Carter, who, like I said, he is a dog, he's a hell of a player, but even if you look at him, when talking about relative to him being an edge rusher, he's small. He's only 6'1". His arms aren't long, but you know he can play. You're going to tell yourself that he's worth that pick because you can move him on ball and off ball. Why can't Will Campbell get the same grace? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Or even, is he relatively small compared to edge rushers that we see? In today's NFL, I beg to differ, because there are not a lot of big outside linebackers that's rushing off the edge anymore, and there's not a lot of oversized defensive ends that's just rushing off the edge. That a lot of these guys are barely pushing 265 or 260 at that. So, like I said, like the whole Will Campbell thing, I think is a crock of shit, honestly. Because it's just, like I said, you're not going to tell me that you're going to sit here and beat down on this dude because of arm length. And let's just be real. We're not going to act like the NFL overall, like they have this track record of just identifying talent and knowing exactly who's going to be talent and who isn't.
Right.
I mean, because the first round miss rate on quarterbacks is outrageous. And also another thing I can point to, first round picks on tight ends. Not good.
Yeah, right.
It hasn't been good. And that's because I feel like in this passing era, I feel like teams have gotten away from, the overall dynamics of the game of how to win games. Because you see, we've done it for so long. New England's always had a good run game. Yeah, we know that Tom Brady, because Tom Brady did his job when he needed to. So if there was a game that he needed to come out and pass 50-plus times, we do that. But they run the ball and they play good defense. Philly last year, ran the ball and played good defense. We see Joe Burrow with all these passing weapons, and he went completely bonkers last year. Freaking Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks. Jamar Chase, the triple crown winner, but yet they didn't make the playoffs. Why? They had no run game. When Joe Mixon left that team, regardless of what you think about Joe Mixon, him and that team, that's where his aura was at. And he's a marginally good running back for the most part. That if surrounded by the right pieces and other weapons like a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, and everything else in between, and he's not the main focal point, he can possibly get the job done. So just overall, I feel like the league has just moved away from so much that had teams being good teams and in contention versus now everybody's chasing after something that they see somebody else has.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
I feel like they create so many problems for themselves because guys get to the draft and you see the tape, and then his arm is an eighth of an inch too short where I can't even consider him to take.
Right, that's like the biggest thing is like the arm length is such a massive, like, controversial thing, but we're talking about like an eighth of an inch. And like in some places it is 33 inches. Right? Like that's the thing, it's not like he's not like consistently, 32 and 7/8. Like he's like bouncing like right around like an inch or like an eighth of an inch or two with all these different like measurement places like the pro day, the combine, the one from a couple of years ago or whatever. Like each one is different, but they're all relatively around that 33. Like they're not anything drastic. Like we're talking about, not even the lace on a football length.
Right.
Like this is like so insignificant.
Yeah, that's what I think it's a crock of shit, and it's just like it's pointless because like you guys are already projecting this kid to be a guard. For what reason? Because one reason because you're saying that his size fits more of the prototype frame of a guard rather than a tackle in the NFL. Yeah. And the game has changed.
Right, and the biggest thing, all these defensive ends that they're saying are like these exceptional talents and are made for the 6'3". Right, they're made for the NFL. He dog walked them. He's like he smoked these guys year in and year out. Like he's not playing against scrubs. Like he's from LSU. Sure. Like he's the guy. And like all these top dog guys, he's dog walking them.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I can only say like the games that I watched that gave him trouble probably is with some edge rushers that got some length, but like Shamar Stewart, I think he didn't have a really good game versus South Carolina neither. Georgia, he did his thing, but that's what I said. Like he's a fucking football player. Like you're not gonna sit here and tell me the guy that paid over 1,000 fucking snaps and gave up 2 sacks in 2 years. And you telling me that you don't want him, and you know that this is a glaring need. The same as Cleveland in New York bypassing quarterbacks. Like, come on, bro. Like,
like you're saying, like Shamar Stewart gave him problems and stuff. Did he let up a sack? Right, like he still doesn't. Even if he's like getting beat, I think he might have did cover and like. Right,
I think he might have did, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. That's nitpicking. Like me personally, like I look at it like, bro, he's a football player. He's gonna give up a sack eventually. But if you're telling me that he's only given up 2 over a 3-year college career.
Yeah.
Why isn't he worthy of a top 5 pick?
Yeah, I mean, he should. It should be a unanimous.
Like, do I need to start digging into the tackles that's coming out next year, just to kind of prove a point? Like, this is already a draft that's subpar. Like, you don't want to sit here and talk yourself out of too many decisions and everything. Like, guys like even at this point, Travis Hunter would technically kind of be a luxury pick. Abdul Carter would be a need, but it would kind of be a luxury there too, because it's just like, can we at least be fair to the offense? Like you guys tried to address this in free agency, so let's just see how that plays out. But
free agency was all defense. I don't want to waste more picks on it than we need to, especially the first pick.
For years, like, and the game is catered to the offenses now.
Mm-hmm.
The game, like the people want to see point scores, so they make more rule changes for the offense. And honestly, like I said, if you feel like Mike Vrabel's that good of a coach, Drake May's that good of a quarterback, then yes, you need to get him a left tackle because defense, good defensive coaches can coach up talent.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always need superstar talent. Good coaches, there's been years that literally Belichick's defenses has been nameless, but they were always good. They were sound, they were disciplined, things like that.
Right.
Because defense, I played defense growing up. It's mainly on effort. Offense requires probably, and I'm not going to take, offense probably requires definitely a lot of skill and finesse. Defense, a good defensive coach can put together a good defense without superstar talent. You feel me? He just can. Offense is almost like impossible. So it's like, okay, yeah, we got the Steph Diggs, but I'm not going to rest on our laurels with him because it's like, I hope he can come back at least 75% of what he was, but he's on the older side.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the older side of things now, so it's like things just like if they don't take a left tackle there, even if they got a Jalen Walker or Abdul Carter, it'd be more like yay, but
yeah, I just don't think especially after this offseason, I'm not about it. I want someone on offense. Right, Abdul Carter's awesome, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
if we can trade something for trade with a team that wants him more, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, because Carter's not playing the first two downs on defense. He's just not. He's not even ready to even play those downs. Like I said, before I even look at Alex Rowland's video, I've been saying it. He's on the ground a lot. He doesn't. His play strength isn't really like that elite. Like what we're talking about is an edge rusher who has an elite speed move, but does never, and I repeat myself, never does a power move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be something that's going to have to be developed anyway. So even taking up Abdul Carter, I don't think he's going to come out and give you 12 sacks right off the rip. We'll be lucky if we get 7 or 8 out of him, especially at the pro level, because he has to get his scrape up. And he has
we don't need 7 or 8 sacks to win more games for us. Like we need 7 or 8 less penalties on offense for us to start winning games.
Yeah,
right? I think the smaller things that Campbell can bring are more important than the bigger things Carter can bring. Right?
Yeah, because it's
sacks aren't really going to change a lot just with the free agencies that we brought, the free agents that we brought in. Right, they're already going to bring in more sacks, and I think the biggest killer for us was penalties on the offensive line. Campbell's going to come in; he's a smart player, right?
And the offensive tackles were slow. Their feet looked like they were stuck in mud. Will Campbell has
it was pathetic. Like we all know, worst of all time.
Yeah, and it's like that defensive line. Like you got Milton Williams, you got Christian Balmer, you got
who looks healthy.
Keon White was trending towards that, and some would probably say, "Well, why the hell did he only tap out at 7 sacks? He had 4 in the first 4 games." That's because teams quickly realized that Keon White was all New England Patriots had, and they never moved him around enough where he can get loose and get these one-on-ones. Because a defensive line, they got different type of techniques and there's things you can do to manipulate to get a guy free up, or get your best edge rusher probably on a mismatch on the line and things like that. That wasn't what he did with Keon, and you constantly left him in a situation where a guard could come over and help with the tackle if he's on the edge, or move him inside where the center can get over and get his hands on Keon. Things like that. Mm-hmm. So Carter, all those other guys, all that stuff sounds good, but I think I can bet my money on with Milton Williams and Christian Balmer there, plus Keon White on the line. Somebody's going to get double-digit sacks. So
that'd be more than enough to, be able to get
like you guys don't need to over. You guys don't need to over stockpile it or anything, because if there was ever a time to catch Buffalo, it would be now. Why? Because they have a lot of expiring contracts. A lot of their talent that was just doing it dirty over there, mainly Stephon Diggs. It's no longer there. Yeah, he still got the Khalil Shakirs and all that. Josh Allen's a good player, but we saw last year. We saw what the Patriots could do with them with a team that's working at full capacity. We went up 14-zip on them. Let them back in the game because of coaching errors, but I think we got a pretty good glimpse. And then when Joe Milton came in, if Buffalo was this deep stacked team, then their third stringers should have did what they could have do against the Patriots third stringers. But that's not what happened. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get the top of our roster right. Get the top of the roster right. You got the quarterback. The running back, you will get the running back. And I'm pretty sure he will make people around him better. Get marginally better wide receivers. Okay, you don't want to take none in the early rounds. You got to take an offensive player in the early round. I'm not trying to see these guys take a defensive player, then take an offensive tackle, and then in the third round, now you're looking for another corner or another linebacker, and then in the fourth round, now you want to address like skill positions. Like, so
Right,
you want to
yeah.
like, come on, bro. Like, no, like stockpile it early on the offensive picks. But it just seems like they don't know what they're doing. Because, like, for Elliott Wolf to come out and say, like, oh, yeah, well, last year we drafted more for need. We don't think that we're going to do that this year. Because it's like, now I'm seeing what the fuck happened. Elliott Wolf don't know what the fuck he's doing. I'm sorry I'm cursing all on the air like this, but kids on here, I apologize. But he doesn't know what he's doing. Because for you to come out and say something like that, and to have to come in and to have to draft another receiver and you had to go out and pay one in free agency, you did a disservice to the two that you brought in last year. And now Kayshon Boutte, who you didn't think was going to be on the roster, he more than earned his spot on that roster. You understand what I'm saying? He more than earned his spot on that roster. Earned it more than the second round pick that you got. He earned it in even Stephon Diggs. He's new here. So if anybody is deserving of first crack at anything, just because of what he tried to do for the team in a wide receiving room that literally had no makeup, him and Pop, they were the leaders.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I think that'd be a big tell is how much opportunity we're to give, Kayshon Boutte and Pop Douglas, where they clearly earned the. Like, I think they're given they're going to make the roster. That'd be fucking outrageous.
Then you got Baker. I'm curious to see what impact Diggs has on Baker, because I feel like
they're similar.
The route running and everything. I feel like that could be a good.
They're very similar,
play styles. That's
what
I'm saying. That could be something that could turn into, if he's in his ear, like, hey man, you want to get like this, or, you know what I mean? And Javon Baker's a confident kid, so
but the big thing, like everyone was saying that, it was the mentals that were preventing him from, getting on the field. I'm wondering how he's going to be able to take, the Stephon Diggs stuff. Like, is he actually going to take it and increase his workload and bust his ass, or if he's just gonna kind of just do the same thing again and just not really take it. But
yeah, in college he played 70% of his snaps on one side. So now it kind of makes sense when putting it in context when they're saying about him not knowing where to line up or him not in the formation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you were a stationary X receiver who's never motioning and never, your routes are your routes, unless the quarterback is audible.
If that's the case, I think he might struggle in a Josh McDaniels.
Exactly. That could be
he's going to be everywhere, and he's got to know everything, and that's going to be kind of interesting. If he's just so used to just like, hey, go on the left side, and you're just going to beat the guy in front of you. I don't care what you run, just do whatever. But you're always on the left side or always on the right side. Now with McDaniels, he could be lining up in the backfield, he could be lining up in the slot, out wide. Motioning, different types of route trees and blocking and all that kind of stuff. Like that could be an issue, but hopefully if Diggs is used to that. He's always been the guy who is everywhere.
Yeah,
so
because
hopefully Diggs can bring a light to that for him.
How much of this roster can you really say is a Josh McDaniels roster? Not a lot of it. And even people, I forgot about Kendrick Bourne. That wide receiver room is so crowded. But I'm
Well,
to the
it's
like
all
I
the
like
same type of receiver, right? They're all the 2s
six
through
foot one,
4s.
205.
Right.
More
Right.
possessions. Like Jalen Pope's about
Which
6'1",
is
205.
it's
Kendrick
good for
Bourne is 6'1",
McDaniels
205.
because that's all McDaniels likes is like those smaller guys. So I think receiver wise it'll work for him, but we have way too many that are the same type of fucking play.
I think they need a bigger guy because as you can see, even in the latter years, we had to bring in guys like Josh Gordon, the Brandon LaFells,
Right.
they're gonna need a bigger body wide receiver.
Yeah, it ain't fucking Mac Hollins. I can tell you that.
Yeah, hell no.
You
Like
know?
he coming in there with no fucking shoes on.
I don't like him. I don't the second we fucking signed him, all I saw was him like with his shoes off and then people posting his highlights. Like you're a grown ass man is gonna post highlights of this guy right after posting a picture of him with his feet like hanging out. Like, what are
Dog.
you doing?
Why he like to be walking outside with those shoes on. Like I feel like, bro, you already rich. Like cut it out. Like,
Right.
cut it out, bro. You come walking up in there with the big stinking feet, like, yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. The Patriots better not lose no jobs to no caveman, dog. Like anybody that wide receiver room, he comes in with his long hair and everything, looking like the freaking guy off the what is it, JG Wentworth,
Right.
commercial.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Like,
bro. Like, he got no shoes on, no nothing. Like he had some decent games last year, but people get moments a little too like people get.
he's just a Gabe Davis, but not as good, right? He's the highlight reel, but it happens once every 3 games.
And honestly, when you got a quarterback like Josh Allen that can touch areas of the field
Right.
that you think that other quarterbacks can't at any given moment, it does appear different. It does appear different when that wide receiver that you don't see getting targets playing with a quarterback that really doesn't have arm strength, but maybe he's getting open deeper down the field. Now
Mm-hmm.
he gets a quarterback that can put the ball in maybe an area where he can get to it. Voila, there you go.
Right.
And you know what I wanted to ask you though?
Mm.
Because even looking back at the combine list, how many guys that ran a 4.2 or less came into the league and been anything? Anybody I'm talking about.
I mean, Tyreek, CJ2K, and then that's kind of like Jalen Waddle. I don't think he really, but like, right,
I
those
don't think
guys
he ran. I think he was hurt when he came out. I don't think he ran. Yeah, Waddle was hurt. Waddle was hurt coming out.
But yeah, I mean, it's very, very, very slim.
So it's like that 40-yard dash, like certain things in that combine, honestly, like I feel like it's bogus. You know what I mean? I don't feel like top prospects should really have to go there and work out. Like, all right, if you want to measure them, but like because
I mean,
that
a lot of them are doing that now. I honestly, it really felt like it started with Drake May's class, and then this past year, I mean, it seemed like almost no one participated in the combine,
it's
right?
pointless.
Because it's only going to hurt, right? If you're a projected top 5 pick,
Yeah,
like like Caleb Williams, like why is he going to fucking do anything? He's gonna be the number 1 pick,
right.
like, why is he going to do that? Drake May, he's the top 3. Jaden Daniels, they're top 3. Like they're guaranteed. Like all it's going to do is hurt. Right? If you're a top 5, top 10 pick guy, all it's going to do is hurt. Like
or look at what's that edge rusher from Penn State? Ajabo. He freaking tore his Achilles in the middle of a pro day.
And there's a risk. John Ross, remember when he broke the record, he tore his hamstring.
Because it's pointless. Because all these dudes that's running 4.2s and everything, I've yet to see any of them really be successful. Like especially those guys from freaking Baylor. They got guys that can fly, but
they suck.
Taekwon, Kendall Wright, Denzel Mims. I ain't taking no more. Like even from like the Big 12 as a whole, we don't really see a lot of like good. Like they have good offensive players in college, but think about wide receivers coming out of the Big 12. Lamb, and I could be maybe missing some, but it's mainly CeeDee Lamb. I could think that came out of the freaking Big 12 that's a wide receiver and really like making some noise right now.
Right.
And honestly, it's because of the play style. It's because of the play style over there. And that's why I'm saying, like, the NFL and college football, I feel like to fix this problem where a lot of these guys are failing, it would make
You got
more
to play
sense
more
for them
similar.
to work together. Because even systematically speaking, you got kids that are just like insanely more talented than probably your average guy that's going to end up probably going to work a factory job or something like that. All throughout his life, he's never really worked on his fundamentals, and he sat in the shotgun all the time. Now
Well,
he the
I'm
pros.
really excited for UNC because I think he's just right. Bill was saying like if you want to go to the NFL, you're going to play here. Or I think he's going to run such a NFL style offense and defense. I think.
You said USC?
Yeah, UNC. Yeah, Bill
Oh,
Belichick.
UNC. Yes.
Yeah, UNC.
Sure. Yeah, because quarterbacks are like teams got to like really understand that quarterbacks have to know how to play under center, and a lot in college do not know how to do it. I'll give you an example. Yeah, I'll give you an example like this. So we're just gonna bring up 12 personnel, right? So this kind of has something to do with just like the overall philosophy of it.
Yep.
Obviously, it requires in most formations sometimes going to require the quarterback to be under center. The reason why the 12 personnel isn't as much of a threat anymore is because we don't see more Rob Gronkowski type of tight ends. That tight end is a hybrid position. He's an offensive lineman and a wide receiver. So a tight end essentially is supposed to know the blocking scheme, everything. But when you know you got two H move tight ends on the field or these guys that can't block, defenses don't feel threatened to get down into their base defenses, 3-4s or 4-3s, where these tight ends can take advantage. Versus I'm looking at it, where these tight ends really can't block, and I feel like my guys up front can hold up against them both. I'm still going to play in a nickel or a bigger nickel.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Defenses aren't shifting their philosophies when they see these two tight ends on the field. Why? Because they feel like they can still stop the run. You know what I mean? You're not going to bludgeon me to that because here's the prototype of the players that are coming out of college. These tight ends, a lot of these guys that are coming in, or a lot of these quarterbacks are coming in, I don't think they fully understand what the pros are going to be asking from them. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like I said, three-step drops. A three-step drop definitely looks a lot different to a quarterback when you asking him to move from up out of center, and by the time his back foot hit the ground, the ball needs to be gone. Versus him standing in the shotgun.
So much faster, and then if you're not training on the going from under center, a three-step drop under center is closer to the offensive line than it is if you're from shotgun. Right. So now he's doing a three-step drop, but it's the defenders are quicker. He's closer to the defenders, so that's like a double thing that he has to kind of train. Right. Yeah, so it's not just like, oh, you're starting from center, now you just have to go back to where you're used to. Right. There's timings with it, right? That he has to get
rhythm.
With.
Yeah.
Rhythm, exactly. Yeah.
Routes are in sync with the quarterback drop step. You're not going to see a quarterback take a three-step drop if his wide receivers are going deep. That's why some corners know when to break. Some are a little bit smarter. They watch the quarterback's feet, things like that. The deep balls, you already know it's going to be a 5-step drop in the hitch.
Right.
But like I said, that stuff looks different from a guy that's been being passed along all his life because maybe he has this super arm and everything else, and he just sat in shotgun and just threw it all over the lot. Running backs, it look different from them too because you always either standing to the left or the right. Now you're getting in the pros, you got to run this ball out of an I formation. You know what I'm saying? You got to run, it starts to look different because the college game, and that's what it is. The NFL is trying to transition towards that, but the number one problem is always going to be in the NFL is those hash marks. They have a lot more build. 100 yards is 100 yards, but I'm talking about just the spacing of how they got it. College, they have so much more field to work with. And that's why schemes are just different. It's just like I said, I think if we really want to see a clean product and maybe some of our favorite college stars be a little bit better coming into the league, I feel like the league and the NCAA or even the coaches gotta try to get together, because if I was a coach, I would want to talk to pro coaches. Hey, I got some players that I feel like, they'll be good in the league. Like what do you guys look for? You know what I mean? What do you think I should work on with them? Like, what's the number one thing that a team feels like players are lacking coming out of the draft? I feel like Bill knows it. And that's why I think him going to North Carolina could be good, because I'm hoping that he's successful. One, because I'm a fan, even though he's freaking robbing the cradle. I don't agree with that. But I love the guy to death. But
all right, yeah.
I feel like the program that he could set at UNC, it could have some influence across college football. And then we'll see more guys come in and actually live up to what's going on, because these days, like, I can already tell you, I don't think Cam Ward is going to be that good. Because think about it, for him to be a number one pick as a quarterback, you think anybody, like, obviously we both can agree in any other draft he would be nowhere near number one. But you don't see much hype around him, right? And he's been to 3 different programs. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, he comes from community college, and he went to Wazoo, and he went to Miami. Wait, didn't he go to Washington State? Yeah, he went to Wazoo. Washington. Yeah, that's where he was at last year before Miami. And I think he came from another school before that. Like, he's okay. Like I said, he's the same. Like, people pick on Shador this, Shador that. Bro, they're about the same quarterback in my eyes, because one may have a stronger arm than the other, but then watching Shador at his pro days, I really didn't see a noodle arm. Nice arm. That's what I'm saying. I didn't see a noodle arm. So it's like, are you guys nitpicking because it's Deion Sanders' son and he's confident? I would want my quarterback to be confident. Like, I'm the type of person, bro, I got no hating in my blood. I'll tell you right now, if you got a rollie on your wrist, or you making money and you happy about it, Brendan, I'll tell you, show it. You feel me? Show me you ain't doing nothing wrong to nobody. You happy with what you got. You feel me? Like, it is what it is. Don't be mad because you ain't got it. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, I feel like the NFL talks themselves into these problems, because it's just like, it's some of these experts to sit here and say, oh, this guy won't be nothing. If that was the case, then it would be a hell of a lot better hit rate on some of these players, where some of them are just not. Like, as in recent history, players have been historically bad. Like, there has been some play that's like, dude, I know the pros could get hard, but that hard?
Honestly, like, it all comes back to, like, I always think of, like, the Desmond Ritter draft. Like, that draft, like, that's why this draft kind of seems similar. Like, that draft was so fucking bad.
2022.
Yeah.
I feel like the 2020 draft is kind of swept under the rug, but that was a terrible draft. See, could they tell you they got the Joe Burrows and the Tuas and Justin Herbert?
I mean, that draft had good prospects.
Right. But a lot of guys got traded, like, within the first 2 seasons after them getting selected. C.J. Henderson, Isaiah Simmons. Who's that tackle Tennessee took? Wilson, I think his name was. He was terrible. I know Isaiah Simmons ended up getting traded like 2 years later. C.J. Henderson got traded the next year. He was like the 8th pick. I think Simmons was the 9th pick. R.I.P. Jeff Gladney. Damon Arnett. No, or was he in 2021? That might have been 2021. There was a lot of players that just, like, I'm talking about, I can go through that whole first round and probably pick out at least 7 players that was off of their team within the first year or 2.
Yeah, right. And
like, these are in another problem is the NFL doesn't give time to these coaches. You feel what I'm saying? Because you were bringing one coach and he has a philosophy and a scheme, and now you bring in another guy, and these guys don't have no purpose for these players anymore.
You're talking about the players not being on the team. If you go back to 2020, how many coaches are still with their team?
Right. And I just feel like that pursuit for a Super Bowl, or to be this high-powered team, that some teams have, like, just literally, like, went haywire. They went haywire. Look at Cleveland. You paid Deshaun Watson, but in their case, I can't even blame Cleveland. They're desperate.
That was insane desperation because that was when everyone found out that like all these allegations were going on and shit.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Do I think he did all that? No, because it just doesn't like me knowing how females can be. I feel like he got himself in a bit of trouble. I feel like he might have been like. Here's my theory of what happened. I feel like he might have been messing with an escort service or something like that because young single guy, he's rich. He probably was paying these girls or doing whatever the case may be, and they probably seen the sheer number of girls that he kept ordering and things like that. And you already know, oh, let's get them. You know what I mean? We can book them because the moment, like some of them, like the reason why I fell out with it, not that you get too far, like you all there, but one girl said like she had to get like he compelled her to give him oral, and after she did it, she passed out. Like that doesn't even, you know what I mean? And they declined to file charges on him twice. Because like I tell people in civil court, you don't need 12 jurors to, you know what I mean? All you need is maybe I think about 9. And if your lawyer tells you, listen, it's going to cost this amount of money to fight this case, and you know what I mean, even if you lose, that's extra money there versus, let's just say they tell you it's going to take about $40 million to fight the case and probably a payout versus, hey, listen, we settle for 15 right now.
And if I'm Deshaun, I'm fucking trying to win that shit. If I'm not guilty, I'm winning that shit.
There's 4 of them he's still fighting.
I think ruined forever. He just got the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history. Like I don't think he gives a fuck about money.
Yeah, I think the 4 women that he did sleep with consensually, because like come on, bro, it's Deshaun Watson. He's young, he's rich. You know what I mean? He was all chiseled up. You know what I mean? Like come on, bro. Like girl, we ain't even gonna get too far into that, but like come on, bro. Like I was over at the crib getting loose.
Yeah, let's
shift gears on that. But
Hall of Fame. I kind of wanted your opinion, right? There's the 3 guys: Vinatieri, Edelman, and Mankins.
I don't want to choose. I would have to go.
I gotta go Edelman.
You gonna have to go Vinatieri first. The first
Vinatieri should have been in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So if he made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I think everyone would just vote Edelman and everyone would be okay. Vinatieri should have been in the Pro Football.
The only thing I say to Vinatieri, like, wait, didn't you finish your career at Colt? Yeah, you can wait till next year.
Right, exactly. Right. Edelman's my favorite player ever. So, like, I'm a little biased, but I also think he's, like, the ultimate Patriot. Like, him and Tom. Like, I just think Edelman just represents the Patriots to the utmost.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I think
because even when Tom left, and, he's trying to get all these guys to Tampa, Edelman said, he's like, I'm a Patriot for life.
Right. Like, I can't. He has to be a first ballot. Like, that's. All 3 of those guys should be a first ballot. I don't know why they don't let. Like, why we have to vote for one of them.
I miss Edelman, man. When we turned on them playoff games, he was going to show up.
He's my favorite player of all time. He's
Julian, he got it out the mud. Like, that's why when people try to argue whether he's a Hall of Famer or not, I say, yes, he is. They're like, oh, well, he has the postseason stats. That doesn't. Hey, listen. The reason why I'm going to tell you why he should be a Hall of Famer, because he was a quarterback in college. And now I think Travis Kelce might have passed it, or maybe Edelman still got it. But to be second behind Jerry Rice in anything, to come out from being a 6th-round pick and a quarterback at that, and to convert to a slot receiver,
7th round,
a 7th-round pick, and to come in and put a career like that.
Yeah, like playoff wise, like obviously, like that should be Hall of Fame by itself. But everyone talks about like the regular season stats. Like, does no one realize that he was like a defensive player for like the first 6 years?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
he did mainly like special teams and shit, and sometimes they throw him in that corner, and he was just an athletic player they were trying to find a spot for.
Right. And then he worked his way up to become a starter, and once he did, 1,000 yards.
Yeah, because you guys had the game plan for him. I don't give a damn what you said. When you had Rob Gronkowski name in that scouting report, I can assume most team scouting reports probably would look like this: Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Super
It ain't
Bowl
no
against
ifs,
the
ands, and
Seahawks.
buts about who was the best player behind two players that was transcending. That was literally, you can argue that was the greatest matchup we ever seen in league's history. Why? Because they produced 4 Super Bowl championships together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They produced 4. Even though Rob Gronkowski didn't play in the Atlanta Super Bowl, he played that season. And you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, Edelman. I feel like Edelman deserves so much more. Honestly, I feel like people don't give him his just due because he's white. I mean, I would just call it for what it is.
Yeah, he's short and white, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like me, like I told you, I don't give a damn about that shit. You feel me? Like, but I feel like that's why people try to like scale him back a little bit, because I feel like had he been a black player, the conversation would have been a little bit different. But like I said, for me, I would put Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame because, like I said, look at those playoff runs, everything. Even in the last game, Tom Brady struggled against the Rams. Julian Edelman was the guy. He won
Super Bowl MVP, right? It's
like he tortured the Rams, and that was what 32-year-old Julian Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, people need to do their homework on that slot receiver position and see when it got revolutionized, because it came with Welker, then Edelman. Because if you look back in them times, how many teams really had a good slot receiver? But the Patriots, Josh McDaniels' offense became with running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield, slot receivers. They revolutionized the league with that. Like, I don't think people really understand that when the Patriots were going through this like transcendent period where they were just winning a lot of games and it was zigging while everybody was zagging, a lot of stuff got copied from the New England Patriots, regardless of if people want to acknowledge it or not. If you look at a lot of our schemes or player types or guys that came through those doors, the Patriots were usually the kind of like the first to be on that like wave to get there. Even with the edge, even with the 3-4 edge rushers. I even read this in the book that they said Belichick found that them running a 3-4, which was his preference, obviously, from his Lawrence Taylor days and everything. When he realized that the 3-4s, more teams were running 4-3s in the league. That means it was extra outside linebackers that he could have gotten free agency and for a cheaper price.
Right.
Things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Things like that. That comes from good coaching, scouting, all of that stuff. So it's just like Edelman, like I said, I would never. Like I said, I'm with you on this. Like, I was so pissed to even see Tyquan even have that number on, because I was like, I felt offended because I'm like, honestly, like, in my opinion, nobody on the Patriots should be able to wear 11 the same way you shouldn't be able to wear 12 or 24. Even if you want to wear 54, 24, like, that's a franchise that has so many good players that there's a lot of, you know, numbers that could get like retired. I mean, you guys aren't Andre Tippett's number is retired, right? 56.
Is it?
Yeah, I think Andre Tippett number's retired. I've never seen nobody wear 56 besides him.
Like Edelman, like it's Edelman and Bledsoe, right? Those are both Hall of Famers. Like, and now if we see when Tyquan got it, that just destroyed me. That was the worst. And now it's Josh Dobbs.
Why would you give him that number?
And now Josh Dobbs, really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, where's the respect at? Like, where's the respect at, bro? Like, do not, like, nobody should be able to just wear that. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it up a notch. Damn this shit. Julian Edelman is arguably the best wide receiver the Patriots ever had. And we don't have, like, we can say Randy Moss is more talented and everything, but we're talking about the totality of being a Patriot through and through.
Right.
Through and through.
Yeah, I mean, he's
probably
like
the best wide receiver you ever had.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's right. Him, Wes Welker, and Randy Moss. Those are the guys that.
Yeah, Welker, Randy Moss. And you had some good guys in there like the David Pattons.
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch. What's his name? Given. Jamar Gaffney. You know, he had some good receivers, like some good role player guys that came in over the years. But
but when it comes to being like a Patriot, like when you think of a Patriot,
got that.
It's Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman got that.
Like, he's so iconic.
How was Stingley's grandfather? I mean, obviously he's before our time. I gotta look him up, see if he was, because his grandfather was the one that got paralyzed on the field with he played for the Patriots.
Oh, really?
Stingley. Yeah, Derek Stingley, his grandfather played for the Patriots, and he got paralyzed on the field. Never played down the football again. Yep, he was a wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Yeah, crazy. It's crazy. That's but yeah, Edelman. I would say like in that aspect, then yeah, Edelman. Like you definitely gotta have Edelman in that Hall of Fame. But all right, so once you put him in the Patriots like Hall of Fame, like do they like retire his number though? Like,
No, because Josh Dobbs has it right now.
man, freak Josh Dobbs. Like he's a good guy and all, but like, dude.
But we all know what he is. Like he's not
Right,
he's not
like
a
you
guy.
shouldn't even be wearing a great player's like like I said, no offense to Josh Dobbs, but what that number meant to Edelman, and when you seen that number 11 lined up in the slot, not to mention there wasn't even too many receivers at the time that had a number in them low ranges like that. They were all in like the 80s.
Yeah, Edelman rocked the sticks. Like he was like the first guy to rock the
Yeah,
sticks.
that's what I'm
Right?
saying. Like, so it's like
It was him and Bledsoe. And Bledsoe, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
right.
Like, those two guys should not be in
Yeah,
the conversation
Bledsoe,
with
he was
Tyquan Thornton. Right?
yeah.
Like
Like Taekwon should man. And then it's like I thought like, all right, maybe we misused the guy. Like he got that speed. He done went over there to the Chiefs.
right, like
But dude, you're taking
11.
pictures of the Super Bowl in street clothes and you play for the team.
Yeah. Like I think
Like,
11 it should I don't think we should retire it, but like I always think of like Barcelona where Messi played. Right, you don't get to wear number 10 until you earn it.
right.
Like the iconic, like I think Edelman's 11 should be something that like you earn the right to like wear that kind of a number,
Yeah,
or like
because you're
24, right? You should earn the right, like show that you're a fucking guy, and then you get to wear those numbers.
yeah, 24. They don't give that out often. It got given to Gilmore, and he had to talk to Ty Law about that. But I think I seen Joshua Bledsoe with it, which confused the freak out of me.
Yeah, a guy who doesn't fucking play.
I think maybe Gerard did that because I know Bill wasn't giving that number out. But it's like the same way as like I feel like Edelman deserves that same respect because you're not going to give nobody on the Patriots 87. You're definitely not going to give them 12 unless there was an era where we're old ass men now and we done watched Drake May's career play out, and hopefully we can say he has at least 2 Super Bowls at the end of that. And now we're looking at another kid that's supposed to be transcendently great. He ends up coming to the Patriots, and he reminds you so much of Tom, and Tom gives you that okay to give him the 12. But
yeah,
I don't think we'll
Tom
see another
too.
number 12, like probably in our young ass lives on the
I don't think
Patriots.
ever. He's just so there's just no way. But
Well,
yeah,
there
like
was something
87.
else I wanted to run by you too.
Yeah,
The Buffalo Bills. I can't stand these guys, bro. Why is it that every time something happens with them, they change a rule? Like it's getting so out of hand to the point. Like I had a talk with somebody about this, and I'm like, this is not even. I say nobody can ever say I'm hating on Buffalo because now they're better than the Patriots right now. But let's be real, we win Super Bowls when we're a good team. They go to Super Bowls and lose. I'm gonna leave that at that.
They went to the Super Bowls in the 90s. They haven't gone to the Super Bowl since.
Right. But
Right.
like I said, even down to the point Josh Allen getting that MVP last year. I'm not saying that he wasn't deserving of it, but I believe that there was another player that if you look at their stats side by side, he had him on it. But you guys wanted to name Lamar the first team All-Pro, and the first time in NFL history a second team All-Pro quarterback gets named MVP over first team All-Pro. So that doesn't look good in you guys. You know what I mean? That doesn't look good for the league. And then on top of that, you guys want to change the overtime rules in the playoffs because he didn't get
They changed that shit so many times.
No, yeah, that's the, but the moment they did that was right after everybody was bitching and complaining how when they lost to the Chiefs in overtime that Josh Allen didn't get a chance to touch the ball. Guess what? Matt Ryan didn't get a chance to touch the ball in overtime in Tom Brady's 25-point comeback. It's life. Right. It happens. That was the rule. I forget what just happened this past year, but they passed another rule. And I feel like it's starting to look like the league wants Buffalo to win a Super Bowl because it looks better for them. It looks better for them that the team that has this quarterback that is transcendent. He is great. I will never take nothing. Josh Allen, he's on a different level. But I feel like they want to see him with a chip so bad, bro. It is just it's nauseating because it's like not every great player wins chips. And like if he's gonna win his, like, let it be that because he went out there and won it. You know, like all these rule changes.
And honestly, I don't think it's. I think it's less Josh Allen. I think it's more this Bills Mafia. Like how much revenue they would make from selling Bills Mafia, like Bills Super Bowl merch.
Oh,
It'd just be ridiculous. Every single house there would have Bills Super Bowl stuff hanging everywhere.
But let's not be like the NBA because that's a failing product that's constantly collapsing. Even because the league is controlled by stars. You know what I mean? The NFL, like I said, I mean, it's 32 teams. I'm pretty sure there's going to be great quarterbacks that come in and out and never win a Super Bowl. I don't devalue them. You know what I mean? Because anybody in their right mind.
Dan Marino.
Right? Yeah, like even Phillip Rivers. Like I don't think people like really remember Phillip Rivers was a damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
Feel me? And he didn't win a Super Bowl. Do I think any less of him? No, because he came into the NFL and played. He wasn't a bust. You feel me? He wasn't a bust. We can't say that about a lot of these freaking quarterbacks. They come in and they just freaking stink. Look at Bo Nix last year. Everybody talked about Bo Nix like he was chopped liver. And then he went to Denver. He can run. Oh, he don't got a good arm. You seen that freaking 70-yard bomb he threw to Melvin Mims? Like, that's what I'm like, bro. This is like sometimes, bro, it'd be a crock of BS with some of these, like, with some of this stuff that comes out of these people's mouth and things like that. Like, it's just, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm Campbell. Like I said, I want Will Campbell.
Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of fucking all these mock drafts and people giving their opinion. I just want the draft.
I'll take Campbell. I'll take Campbell because I want to protect Drake. And I feel like solidifying that offensive line, for some reason, I feel like the offense is going to be able to move more efficient with the wide receivers that we got. Because like I said, just with Drake May being in, when Mac Jones used to play, I used to get nervous every time.
Yep.
Drake May comes in, it's like it just looks smooth.
Hearts racing, like
like please don't throw a pick, But then Drake May comes in, you see play after play being made. Doop 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 doop. He goes down the field, he scores, and it's like okay, that's the excitement that a good quarterback can bring.
Yeah,
he's hitting his targets, he's doing this, he's doing that. Okay, give him some time because there were times last year that he got robbed. But I feel like this is going to be the tell test of if we just got a younger Belichick that has kind of the same like philosophy and principles. Because if you take a defensive player in this first round, that is ridiculous. Do you want to go over maybe the last 5 drafts and see how many offensive and defensive players that we took in the first round?
Right.
It's like it's time, bro. It's time. Like you guys got built out of the building. It's time to change the philosophy and stop picking players like Jalen Polk and all. Like you're reaching. You're gonna trade back on a Lab McConkey pick. Jesus Christ! Imagine if we had Lab McConkey right now and Drake, and we're about to go into the draft and maybe get another stud. Like you bring Will Campbell in the first round. You maybe get like a Jaden Higgins or something in the late seconds or. I don't think Jaden Higgins may go in the first, honestly, because he's climbing boards.
He's getting a lot of hype. Yeah.
Honestly,
him and Noel have been kind of climbing.
I love Noel too.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I would love that either.
His combine, Noel's combine, he did phenomenal. 4.39 speed. I think he had like a 41.5 inch vertical. And that's at 5'10". You know what I mean? Good 3-cone. Like, that's a player. And I think he put up some reps on the bench as well. So I feel like he would fit a good mold for it to be an Edelman. And if that's the only receiver that you brought in this year, I can live with that. Because you already crowded. If you can bring in a solidified slot though, even though you already got Douglas. But if you can use both of them in the slot while being on the field at the same time, that could be dangerous. But Higgins is somebody, he's athletic. He's very athletic. He's the same size as Ted McMillan. He's faster.
Ted's
And
been balling. Holy fuck.
because he's not
That
that
it's
40
that whole
time in,
video of him being like, "Yeah, I don't watch film."
yeah,
That
like
destroyed him.
you know what I think he did? I don't think he wants to go in the top 10. I think he wants to go to a more safe, because usually if you go in the top 10, you go into a bad team.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's going to get louder if somebody drafts him. He has to be the number one. He doesn't come in and live up to that. I don't think speed is everything, but in his case, he's going to need some speed, and teams aren't that impressed. Like, I know his team, his management team put out that he ran a 4.47,
You're
but
right.
I heard it was closer to he ran anywhere between the 4.54s and 4.56s.
Yeah. Right.
And then you watch the tape, it's like, yeah, all this stuff looked cool, but like, do you want your quarterback throwing jump balls all game? And then you look back, it's a lot of slants and it's a lot of drags and it's this and it's that.
Right. The big thing that I notice is, right, all those big highlight plays. The defenders ran on top of him. He's not separating
Right.
a lot of time. That's kind of like a red flag for me. Obviously, I don't know shit, but right, that's kind of something that I look at. Like,
for sure.
Right, like in Kill Harry,
Right.
Be the guy
Right. He's on your back. You can't get nobody off you. And this is a wide open field, and you're still engaged with your man. So in these tight areas where the field is a lot more tighter, and these guys hit harder and they're faster. Come on, man. Like I said, Ted McMillan, you look at, he do a lot of comeback routes, and it's easy for a quarterback to hit him when he's that tall because he has a freaking catch radius that's crazy. But I said, then you look at Higgins, they're both similar in size. Like I don't know if I think I posted it on Twitter. I said Higgins is going to be a better pro. I think so, because if looking at Higgins, looking at his numbers, they consistently climbed every year. So I feel like what you're seeing now is a player he's growing up. You understand what I'm saying? He's growing up, he's growing into himself. So like I feel like if the Patriots have a chance and he's there at 38, and you just took the left tackle, I'll go for it. Why not? Because then if you need a solidified X and a bigger body receiver that can get out of his releases and get off of some of these jams and these presses on the outside, he has good hands. So you can put Stephon Diggs over at the Z, move him around however you want to. I feel like people like guys will settle in. It just always leads me to come back to the point, like, are we completely done with Jalen Pope?
I would be okay with either, with sticking with him or not sticking with him at this point. Like, because he's just so young that like I get keeping him, but then like you look at the other side, it's like he was statistically the worst receiver in the entire NFL. So then it's like, okay, yeah,
I
like
attribute a lot of that to AVP.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like that's why I'm okay with keeping him, because it's like, right, give him a fair shot. Right, but then I also understand not giving him a shot because he didn't fucking do anything.
I feel like yeah, I'm kind of where you at with it. I'm kind of stuck in the middle, but I'm also feeling like a little bad about it too, because we can both say that he really didn't get, a good chance, and now with this new coaching staff coming in, he could be on the outs.
Yeah.
Because do Mike Vrabel want to attach himself to another Traylon Burks?
It's tough. But like the thing that makes me think that I would lean more towards keeping him is Drake May still has like faith in him.
Right.
Like Drake May is still willing to like try to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's like the biggest thing.
It's hard to just envision where his role is gonna be when like. We can all assume that based off the money that was paid and who we brought in, we know him for who he is. Stephon Diggs is likely the number one target. So now, number two, we can't say, like we were saying, Pop Douglas and Booty are the ones that's deserving of being in that spot. So even if you went into the season where you told me Kayshawn, your starting receivers were, let's say, Stephon Diggs, Kayshawn Boutte, and Jalen Noel. Doesn't sound like a bad lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound like a bad lineup, and especially when you done brought in Will Campbell to put on the line. You got Drake May as your quarterback, and they get another receiving back or a pretty good running back coming out of the draft. You're not an incompetent offense no more. You got a competent offensive coordinator. Like, there's a lot of things that could work in their favor. It's just hard for me to envision where Pope is about to be in this offense, unless I think they might let it play out in spring training camp to see who's what. Because if they draft another receiver in this draft, what they going to have, 10 wide receivers in the room?
Yeah, they have a ton.
Yeah, and it's like somebody's going to have to get traded. And is it too late to trade any of them? Kendrick Bourne, I'm okay with releasing him. Douglas, I think you should keep him, but if you're out on him, then you should definitely trade him for at least a third or a fourth. I feel like that's fair. And you would technically made out because him and Boutte are both 7th round picks? In the same draft. I think they're 7th rounders.
I don't think Pop was. Pop was
6th round. I know he didn't go no higher than the 6th.
Yeah.
So it's like
maybe. Yeah, I think Boutte was the last pick. I think Boutte was our last pick.
Yeah. So it's like,
but I mean, whatever, right?
If you can flip those players, like I wouldn't, I'll be kind of sad just for them, but I understand, they got to build a team. So if you're telling me that's what they're about to do to build a team, then you feel me? Like it is what it is. The Patriots that we know, like we've been complaining that the talent hasn't been good for years. So now we got somebody else coming in and trying to bring in their own talent. But I'm not sure what we're doing at the linebacker position because what's that guy named? Josh Giddens, or what's his name? Jack Gibbons?
Something like that, yeah. Givens.
Who the hell is that guy? Like, come on now. Like, don't you want Bentley? All right, we got Spillane, but higher and run stopper. Like, we need some linebackers that can kind of match up against tight ends and things like that. I don't know. Like I say, who knows? Like,
2 more weeks.
Just take Campbell, bro. Like, I feel like nobody's gonna argue with them. Like I said, and if he turns out to be good, great. Because I highly doubt. I'm telling you, by the time week 1 start, we might not hear shit else about Will Campbell's arm length. Unless he makes the Pro Bowl and now he's freaking shutting guys down. And this is the guy that did this with 32 and 7/8 inches of an arm. He's 1/8 inches short of being what a prototypical All-Pro would be for this. Like, come on, bro. Like, miss me with that. Like, you got freaking edge rushers coming in 6'2", like Nolan Smith from the Eagles. He's not a big guy. He's probably about 6'1.5", 6'2". Kind of same as Jalen Carter, him coming off the edge, lethal. It's like the league, like they're full of crap. They're comparing these players to players probably from the 90s or whoever wrote the Bible up of what a player's supposed to look like at a certain position. I'm Will Campbell all the way. Make it happen. Get this offense moving.
Yep. 2 more weeks. We only got 2 more weeks. Get in there. But all right. Well, it was good talking to you.
All right, buddy. Enjoy that food. Have a good night, bro.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your response, Bill?
Well, I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. Stupid thing.